How cheaply can you build a microphone blimp? This is the question I asked myself when the other day I saw a 3D print file for a kind of knockoff road blimp on Thingiverse. It's a road blimp size, but it's got a kind of Riket style unscrewing thing where you unscrew it from the front and back. Anyway, I sent the file to my brother up in Manchester. He's got a 3D printer, and he said it took him about 36 hours to print this out, which he did over the course of several consecutive nights. About a month later, he came down and gave me this. So, besides the printing, there's a few other bits you'll need to complete this build. There are a couple of, let's double check, 3x12 screws, and the 3x12 screws are for attaching these cradles to the kind of mount underneath. And the nice thing is you can actually move the cradles into one of these slots here, which will change the size of the microphone that you can put in the holder. The other thing you'll need is an XLR cable. This is a Nutrix XLR jack end, and that seems to fit this kind of bottom bit quite well. This is probably about a foot long, so maybe a bit too long for this. I need to cut it down. And you'll need some elastic bands, which will hold the little mic clips into the cradle. The elastic bands I've got here are from Amazon. They are 15mm across in diameter, and they were advertised as elastic bands for hair, which I've never heard of. That sounds kind of horrible, actually. So I spent about £5 on this, but you could get them much cheaper, knowing that the right size is probably about 15mm. The final thing is that these clips for the cradle are too big for a 1920 size mic. So that's your kind of Rode NTG3, which is what I've got, or a 416 is about the same size as well. And so to make that fit my mic, I add a little bit of rubber on the ends of that, on the inside, sorry. And the rubber I got was from these big elastic bands, which I just had lying around. So, putting that all together, the cost was about £16 for me because I had all of the bits to hand besides the elastic bands. But I reckon if you had to buy all of that stuff, it would still only cost you £30. And if you had all that stuff lying around in the office, which you plausibly might, it would cost you only £10 for the filament. Now, the final stage in this is the actual cover itself. For that, I picked up this Rode Wombat off Facebook Marketplace, and the guy who sold it to me for £10, which is a pretty good price. Although it's pretty old, and that fits nicely onto this. And the advice I've got about the Wombat is that you should choose one which has a pull cord to tighten it rather than Velcro, because the Velcro will make a noise whilst you're recording, and that'll come up on your microphone, which is inside the chamber. And there you have it, a microphone blimp which cost me in total £26. There are a few issues, however. The first one is that the PLA that we printed it out of is maybe not the ideal plastic. Blimps I've used in the past have had a much kind of softer plastic which kind of flexes a bit, and I think that's better, especially if it gets knocked or if it gets squished or something. It's not going to break, and it's also not going to pass on the sound to the mic so readily. And the second problem we had with that plastic is that a lot of the kind of friction fits actually aren't very tight, and even if you screw them incredibly tight with this plastic screw, they don't really close up nicely. The screw thread is completely worn on that, and I'm kind of scared to tighten it even further in case it just snaps completely off. So yeah, maybe think about finding some other solution. I saw another guy who had done this online, actually just got rid of the handle and replaced it with your kind of typical mic stand. Now, the one thing I haven't done, which you'll see on typical blimps, is I haven't put the fabric on the inside to close off the chamber. And the reason I haven't done that is because at the same time someone sold me this wombat, which fits this lovely 3D printed blimp, they also sold me the actual road blimp for 40 quid, which was a really good price. It's a bit of a shame because we spent so long making the homemade version, but at the same time, it now gives me some pointers as to what the difference between the real thing is and the homemade one. If you want to make this yourself, hit me up if you want any advice. And also tell me if you want me to do any tests between a proper road blimp and the 3D printed online version. I'm happy to see what the difference would be. Anyway, happy building. Cheers.